Over the last 5 years, I've built and scaled my marketing agency to over $1 million per year, and I've done that with a remote team, mainly based in South America. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I find and hire A players from South American countries. And you may be asking, well, what are the main benefits of hiring from South America, apart from the obvious one, which is it's more cost effective, right? If you're comparing US salaries against salaries in South America, it is more cost effective to hire in South America. So what are the other benefits? Well, we have a lot of our clients in the US. So by hiring within South America, we hire people on the same time zone as our clients, which is so important for communication. Clients get responses very, very quickly. The next major benefit is because you can pay more than what these people would earn working for a company within their own country, because you can pay more than that and you can provide them with an amazing life, remote work, working for a US company, getting paid in US dollars, or if you're in the UK, Australia, Canada, it doesn't matter. Like, you're paying them in a stronger currency, which is better for them. And what that means is that they're going to give their 110% because it's an amazing opportunity. So you could argue that you can get more dedicated talent from countries in South America than you could in your own home country, right? That isn't always the case, but it's just something that I've seen, all right? So background on me is I built my own marketing agency, as I mentioned, HaysMedia.co. We have been around for 5 years. Before that, I was freelancing for 4 years, doing ads, running ads for many different businesses. At my agency, we work with e-commerce brands. We offer a few different services across meta ad, media buying, ad creatives, email and SMS marketing. We have real case studies. We work with real brands, testimonials. And we have a real team as well. Okay, so you can actually come to our website and see that we are a real company. Okay, so let's get into how we can actually find these people and how do we make sure that we weed out the good from the bad? Just like any hiring process, you need to have sort of a funnel, right? You need to be able to get qualified leads, qualified talent in. You need to be able to attract people into your funnel. Then you need to qualify them with interviews, and you need to sell them on joining your company, right? And then, of course, you need to weed out who is the right fit for the culture versus who's not, right? So a few methods. Let's go to the top of the funnel, right? In terms of actually getting attention and attracting people to say, hey, join our company. So the first most effective way is running meta ads, Facebook and Instagram ads. And I'm going to show you an example of an ad that I ran, and I will show you the metrics here because the numbers are actually very, very strong. So on this one ad that we used for hiring, we spent 611 dirhams, which if you convert to US dollars is $166. And from that, we got 319 applications, right? We were paying 1 dirham and 92 fils, which 1.92. We're paying 52 cents per application, okay? Now, I'll show you the ad and I'll show you where we drove this traffic to so you can literally just rip this funnel. First of all, we were targeting the big 7 countries within Latin America. So those countries are Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and Uruguay. We have a total of 8 people from South America on our team, and 7 of those people are either from Brazil or Colombia, okay? So that's where we've had the most success. We keep the age open, we keep the genders open, and we just add in some targeting here, okay? So these are business page admins, right? Because we're targeting people who are performance marketers. They're running Facebook ads, so likely they are also admins of other pages. AdSense is Google Ads software. BBDO is another agency. Conversion optimization, copywriting, e-commerce, Google Analytics, Havas, Ogilvy. These are different marketing agencies. Shopify, advertising, right? We're entering interests that they would be interested in, okay? And this is quite a broad ad. I'm going to show you it in just a moment. So let me show you the ad right now. If you're a media buyer, creative strategist, CRO specialist, copywriter, video editor, graphic designer, email marketer, we're hiring. My name is Jordan Hayes. I'm the founder of Hayes, a growth marketing agency that works with exciting e-commerce brands to offer a complete done-for-you solution that tackles the full funnel. Everything from producing ad creative, media buying, conversion optimization, and email and SMS marketing. At Hayes, we're a small, tight-knit team with strong company culture. Whether it's working with people that share the same values as you, being challenged every day, or having fun on our annual company team trips, there's one thing that's for sure. You will feel part of a family. If you're looking for growth in your career, if you want to be challenged daily, if you want to work alongside a team of A players, and if you want to be part of a company that invests in you and helps you achieve your goals in life, click the link below to fill out a quick application confirming your interest in working with us. I look forward to hearing from you. So the ad is very, very simple, right? It was in a podcast studio. It looks produced, it looks professional, and it's quite broad, right? We're like, if you're an email marketer or copywriter, like we still got qualified applicants. So what I would actually recommend you do if I was to do this again, and we will be doing this again, is you split up different ads for different roles that you're hiring for. You can be more specific and more targeted. You'll speak more towards the person that you're trying to bring to your company. So let's just say you're hiring a copywriter. You would create an ad, say, hey, if you're a copywriter, we're hiring. And then you would just, you could literally just change the hook, right? You could just literally sit down, record a hook for every role that you want to hire for, and then you keep the rest of the video the same, right? The rest of the video being explain more about your company, what it does, what are the benefits, right? I put a few things in here, like you're going to be challenged every day, remote work, you go on an annual team trip, like these sorts of things, right? Get them excited about applying for your company. You might even want to share a little bit more about your values as a company, right? And I would test something a little bit more produced like this, or just with your iPhone, right? Just sit down, hey guys, my name's Jordan. This is what we're doing. This is who we're hiring, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's very, very simple. And you could do this. You could just do this in an hour and get the ads live. Then we drive traffic to a simple landing page, which is this one right here. It says, unlock your potential. We're hiring world-class media buyers, creative strategists, email marketers, copywriters, web developers, graphic designers. All roles are 100% remote. Complete the form below to register your interest in joining our team. We'll review your application and contact you for next steps. And it's a simple application, name, email address. They select the role that they're interested in. And then we say, briefly explain why you think you're a great fit for this role. Now, maybe some improvements I would do here. Of course, if you're targeting specific roles, which I recommend, then of course, maybe on here, you just be more specific to, let's just say you're hiring a copywriter, just be more specific to actually this is the form for copywriters, right? So that they know they're in the right place. And here you could also get them to record a quick Loom video. Why is this? Because most people won't do it. So it's very easy to weed out the people who just are not going to put in any effort at all. The second thing is you can actually test what their English is like, okay? Both spoken, written, you won't be able to test just yet, but I think in a marketing agency sense where it's very client facing, you want to know like what their English level is like. And that's one of the biggest bottlenecks, is that someone could have great talent, but if their English is not good enough and they can't communicate with your team, with your clients, then you just can't hire them, right? So you need to have these pre-qualifiers in place to save your time so that you only get the qualified applicants who have a good enough English level, who took the time to record the Loom video. And maybe you can even add another box here to say like, explain, like show me some case studies or results that you've been able to achieve, or, give me some background on you as a copywriter or whatever. That way you can also test their written English. But with AI nowadays, you can easily fake that you're great English, right? So that's why we have the Loom. All right, they submit this application, it goes into a spreadsheet, we get notified, we reach out once we review the applications. So that is method number one, meta ads. The second method, which has been very, very successful for me, is LinkedIn. Now, not so much running LinkedIn ads. Like, you believe it or not, we've run a ton of LinkedIn job ads in South America, but I've never hired someone from an ad that I've run on LinkedIn targeting South America, okay? The way that I've done it is I've actually proactively reached out cold to people that have interesting profiles. And in the early days, back in like 2021, 2022, 2023, I would sit down for hours, days, weeks on end, going through thousands and thousands of profiles in Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, Chile, Peru. And I would reach out. Like, I have thousands of connections with performance marketers, email marketers, video editors, graphic designers, because I was like, I want to find the best people. So I'm willing to sit down every day on my computer for hours going through, because I know if I get the best talent, the rest is going to be easy. And that's what happened, okay? Of course, I do think there's a more efficient method with the ads, right? You basically attract people to you, or if you're posting content, you have a personal brand, it's easier to attract people to wanting to work with you. But this strategy, like, it just works, okay? So maybe you have someone on your team, like an assistant, going through these profiles. So what I'll do is I'll come to the simple search function here on LinkedIn. I search for a performance marketer. I set people and I put the location as Brazil. And now I believe that this limits me to like 1,000 profiles in total, but I have 1,000 results I can go through. Okay, so even if like I reach out to 5% of people, like it's still a very good chunk of candidates that, some of them will respond and then a few will be qualified. So maybe out of 1,000 profiles that I go through, 5 might actually be qualified candidates that could work at my company, right? So this is a very, very good strategy that I've used multiple times. LinkedIn Recruiter allows you to be a little bit more granular in your searching. You have to pay for it. I don't think it's necessary, but I've used it in the past to find team members. However, I think this suffices, right? You can just literally go to the top of your LinkedIn search and just type performance marketer and hit search, and then add some filters, right? Change the location. You might want to go Argentina, show results, and literally just reach out and say, hey, we're hiring a performance marketer, we're hiring a copywriter, we're hiring an email marketer. The job is 100% remote. Are you interested? And a lot of people respond, okay? So this is a very, very effective method. So those are the 2 main ways that I get candidates attracted to the company. But it doesn't end there. We have to qualify, which I told you a little bit about the Loom process, getting them to write some things about themselves. You put them through an application process. Then those that are qualified, we have an interview. Okay, the interview is maximum 30 minutes. If we don't think it's going to be a good fit, we cut the interview short. Okay, we need to respect our own time. We need to respect the time of the candidate. If it's just not going to work out, then cut the interview short. Now, if the interview goes well, good fit, good culture fit, they have the competence, they have the experience, they have the right attitude, then we move forward into setting them a task. Now, this is very, very important because, again, someone could be very good at interviews, right? Someone could ace their way through application processes, no problem. But the task is something that it weeds a lot of people out as well, right? So maybe out of taking 20 different interviews, we might set the task to 2 or 3 people, right? We're very, very strict on our standards, right, of who we want in the company. And then I'm just going to give you an example of a task we've actually set for a performance marketer. This is someone who's managing ads on Facebook, Google, they're building funnels, they're optimizing landing pages, all that stuff. So we actually split the task out into 3 parts. We have task 1. Here is a scenario of a client where the ROAS is currently 1.5 and we need it to be 2.3x. In this spreadsheet, you'll find a breakdown of the metrics in the funnel. In detail, explain what metrics of the funnel you would focus on improving and describe the things that you would change and implement to improve those metrics. If there are any website metrics you would improve, explain how you would go about improving them with examples. Record a Loom video to present and explain your videos. Explain your ideas. The video should be a maximum of 10 minutes, okay? This is just one part of the task, and it's designed to test a specific part of their job, okay? Task 2 is record a Loom video explaining how the meta machine learning and ad delivery works. This is just so that we know the platform that you're going to be using for your clients. Do you actually know how it works, okay? And we're looking for like very deep knowledge here, right? We're not just looking for like, yeah, like you set your targeting and you set up the campaign and you add the creatives. Like, no. We're looking for the machine learning side. Like, how does it actually find people? How does it use signal data, right? All the more technical stuff. That separates people who are passionate about this than people who are just like, yeah, like I run Facebook ads, right? And then task 3, we say, here's a website that we'll start running meta ads for. This is the product. If we run ads direct to this product, the conversion rate is too low. The ads are not profitable. To fix this, we need you to build an offer using the best-selling product that we can advertise to cold traffic. Be creative. The offer should be able to achieve a high conversion rate, have a good AOV, not just be a percentage or dollar off offer. So we're testing their creative thinking and their approach to building an attractive offer for cold traffic from Facebook ads, okay? We get them to record a Loom video as well. Now, with this task, we give them a strict deadline, right? So it's like, deliver the task on this date, at this time, in this time zone. Anyone who delivers the task, even if it's 1 minute late, disqualified immediately. And we do look out for people who submit early, right? Not like submit early, but the task is like bad. Of course, if the task is bad, it doesn't really matter if you submit early or 5 minutes before the deadline. We don't care. But if they submit like a day or two before the deadline, that's like good bonus points, right? Because it means that they're not waiting to the last minute. If someone literally submits the task 5 minutes before the deadline, it's like, you left this to the last minute, obviously, right? And it's not like we're giving them 12 hours to do this. We're giving them 3 days, 4 days. Like, they have enough time to do this, okay? So this is like some things you just want to watch out for. We say the task should be delivered via email to this email address. If it's not delivered to this email address, disqualified. With the subject line, Hayes Performance Marketer task. If it does not come with this subject line, disqualified. Because, like, why? You might be saying, well, that's really harsh. Like, no, people need to be able to follow instructions. And if they miss out these details here, this is the best you're going to get from the employee because they need the job. They want the job, right? They're going to give you their best, or they should, right? From there, you can expect that you're going to get a little bit less from them over time. Depends how you incentivize your employees, of course. But yeah, if people are missing these things, it's like, guys, come on. Did you even read the brief? So we disqualify anyone who doesn't have good attention to detail, especially with a role where attention to detail is a prerequisite to being successful in the role, right? So yeah, we keep it very, very strict. If someone doesn't record any Loom video that we ask them to, disqualified. We used to be even so strict that if your video goes over 10 minutes, it's like, it's not disqualified, but it's like we give you like negative points. We're a little bit less strict on that because, you know, people still follow the instructions. Yeah, sometimes it's not easy to stick within the time limit. So we're a little bit more lenient there. But yeah, we used to be a lot more strict. But yeah, as you can imagine, with a process like this, multiple steps, but very strict as well, high standards, then, you know, ultimately you're left with like 1 person, 2 people max that you choose from, okay? And if you're left with no one, then guess what? You need more applicants, right? We're not just going to make a decision because we need to. Never put yourself in a position where you need to hire, right? Being in a position where you need the hire right now, you're going to make a wrong decision. 9 times out of 10, you're going to make the wrong decision on who you hire. So keep that in mind. You want to hire, right? Because you need to grow the company. But, you know, if we don't get any applicants right now, no worries. We'll get more. We don't need to make a hiring mistake. We don't need to rush into this. And that is a mindset that most business owners, even at the highest levels, fail to embody all the time. And I've made this mistake myself, but we've never rushed into a hiring decision that turned out to be great for the company. Never. So that's just an extra thing to keep in mind. Of course, you want to score them on the task, right? We basically score each task out of 10. So in this example, there would be a score out of 30. Those that get the highest score are the ones that usually we, have that final conversation with. I bring in somebody else on my team to have a conversation with them to make sure they're the right fit. Okay. They could get a 30 out of 30 on the task in my eyes, but if my leader, if my head of departments talk to them and say, I don't know about this guy, like, I don't know, something's off, I'll trust them and say, okay, let's get more applicants, right? So the theme here is obviously very, very strict, but having a process like this in place allows you to go from getting hundreds and hundreds of applicants from your Facebook ads and your LinkedIn to actually making a decision on bringing on an A player to your company that you can feel good about as well. Okay, that's it for the hiring process. Now, once you have team members, you need to be able to manage them and keep a pulse on your team members. And something that I've learned growing the company, having a remote team, is that it's harder and harder to keep a pulse on what team members are doing. Are they burning out? Do they have capacity? What is the sentiment about them working at the company? And that's why I built this software, Yando, to be able to track that sentiment, to track the workload, track the collaboration, the engagement, so that I don't lose my A players that I've put so much time and energy into hiring and training and onboarding and keeping them incentivized, right? This plagues most marketing agencies, is that they lose their A players because of things like high workload, bad environment to work in, no work-life balance, no like leadership that doesn't care about their professional goals or their personal goals, and also people who are just not recognized for the work that they do. Yando is designed to bridge that gap for you and your remote team by using patterns of communication and actual message context across Slack, Gmail, Notion, Zoom, Google Meet, ClickUp, other areas where you have communication, other areas where you do project management and client delivery. It tracks the areas that you only have access to, right? There's no surveillance, there's no spying, it doesn't access private DMs or things that you don't have access to. It can only see things that you and your leaders can already see, okay? But it is much more effective because it's built with a very sophisticated model that's able to understand message sentiment patterns and also the wider context as well. And it feeds you insights into a table of scores where you can basically say, okay, we need to intervene here because Olivia's workload is getting out of control, or this person missed 3 meetings in a row. Let's talk to them. This meeting that's meant to be going ahead every week it hasn't happened in the last 4 weeks. What is going on here? We need to talk to someone. So these sorts of things, okay? We've used this in my own company and my co-founders as well. We're currently on a wait list. If you want to try this out once it launches, go to yando.io and join the wait list. And I'd be happy to share more information about how the product works and if it's a good fit for your company. All right, that's it for this video. Hopefully this one was insightful and helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.